Hello and welcome to another episode of Sacred Connections, and in this video, it's part of a December series, so this video talking about things that come up at this time of the year for us, and the one that I want to talk about in this episode is family gatherings and sometimes the anxiety and stress that creates if you are parenting in a way that is not the same as the rest of your family, you know, the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles and everyone else. And that is often the case for attachment parenting families. And so this time of year often creates some anxiety and stress around the family gatherings, which is very understandable. And very common. It's common. It was my story too, and hopefully some of the little quick tips I'm going to give you today will help make this year more enjoyable. So the first tip I want to give you is decide on your intention for the day, okay, up front. And hopefully it is about relationships and peace and connection of some form. Second of all, if you are anticipating it could be kind of stressful and awkward, perhaps set yourself up for success by deciding when would be the best time. You know, if nighttime is not good, try and get there earlier, or leave earlier at the end, or you know, just set yourself up with some parameters for the timing and possibly give yourself that up front, well, we're probably going to be leaving by this amount of time, and then you've kind of got your exit strategy if you need one. You might not need one. Then next thing that I want to say is with all things in life there is balance, and with this video I'm going to try and do the same and show a bit of balance. The first thing I want to say is absolutely advocate for your child, okay? If your child does not want to run and give grandma a great big hug and a kiss, then step up and help them. They do not have the language or the sophistication and the confidence yet to know how to hold their own boundaries, and you can show them how to hold their boundaries, and if you do it well you can show them how to hold it in a sort of a light-hearted way with some grace, okay? So in the case of the kissing grandma bit, which is quite a common one, you know, some children are very resistant to that, you know, you can say, we're actually on a kissing strike at the moment, but I'd be happy to accept a hug, okay? So you can just step in and help your child hold their boundaries if that's what you need to do. Just do it in a way that's respectful and show some diplomacy. Diplomacy will probably be a theme of your day, okay? Now, the other thing that I want to talk about here is what happens when it all gets into the parenting debate. And I actually would encourage you not to engage in a parenting debate on Christmas Day. The Christmas dinner table is not the place to try and convert your parents over to co-sleeping, okay? It rarely, if ever, goes well, okay? So do not try to convert people on Christmas Day, no matter how passionate you might be about your parenting philosophies. It's not likely to go down the way you hope. Having said that, also, you don't need to let anyone else undermine your confidence or try to convert you to a style that is not part of your heart's philosophy, okay? And I would encourage you to think up a few things to say beforehand, because in the heat of the moment, you're going to be triggered, family baggage coming up, everything comes up that you know, you're not necessarily going to be in your most graceful diplomatic place, especially if you're feeling anxiety or stress about it. I encourage you to think of a couple phrases ahead of time. Okay, so and there's many. Find one that works, that sounds authentic to you, but that states, what you want to state is, I hear you, I thank you for your concern, this is working really well for us at the moment. Okay, so there's some components there. And the first one was, let them know that you hear them, okay? They do want to feel heard. And we assume good intent with our children. We don't often extend that into our adult relationships. But I can probably assume for most of you, your parents love you and they love their grandchildren. So there is genuine concern and there is genuine wanting to share their knowledge, okay? Allow them, you're probably not going to be able to stop them. So I heard you share. I hear what you're saying. You can even say, I understand, you might find this concerning. Whatever feels authentic for you, okay? Then you want to make it clear that, but this is working for us well. Be confident, hold your ground, okay? This works well for our family. Okay. And I do encourage you to probably not then try to have a discussion with your sister-in-law who does cry it out and scheduled bottle feeding later down the track about, wow, I'm finding it a little bit challenging to keep on top of the on-demand breastfeeding. Like, don't try to go for a vent later, okay? Not the right person anyway, really. So create connection in conversation on other grounds, not your parenting front. On your parenting front, this is working for us really well at the moment. We're really happy with it. At the moment is a really good way to end it too. And the reason that I like using that one at the end is it gives everyone a feeling of open-endedness, not this is the end of the discussion, I'll never talk about it again. At the moment also is a reminder to everyone how fast time moves with your little one. The way meal times or bedtimes look in your house right now, they're not going to look the same in 6 months or a year. What works for you right now and what you're happy with at the moment is going to shift anyway. And that's just a really nice diplomatic way to put all that into perspective and put into place. Whatever phrase you choose to go with, I encourage you to find a few ahead of time, just so to help you create your boundaries. You know that you're confident, you know this is your road, okay? If you want to create connection, be careful what topics you pick. Like I said, if you have someone at the table who is using a very opposite method of parenting to you, they're not the person to vent to, okay? However, if they are extremely good in the kitchen and have great freezing ideas for how to halve your cooking time or something, there's common ground, okay? If you want to find common ground, do it on something that you authentically feel you could connect on or that would be helpful. Otherwise, I advise you not to go there, okay? These people are not your venting network, as it were. Okay, so now that I've given the boundaries and we've talked about your child's boundaries and your boundaries, I just want to change and shift the tone for the last little bit of this video, and that is, remember to breathe a lot today, okay? And if your children are a little bit older and are interacting with your grandparents verbally and that sort of thing, providing the relationship does not move into what you consider abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, whatever. If it has not transgressed over that line, breathe and remember your children will have many relationships with many people in their lives, and they really, really quickly and from a very young age know that different people, they have different relationships with each of them, okay? And the grandparent relationship can be a very special relationship if it's allowed to happen. And I know for some of you that probably feels really challenging. It's like, oh, just try to breathe. When my little ones were younger, I was nervous about this. I'll be totally upfront with you here. And I hovered a bit. I did hover. And there were some times when it was good that I hovered because I felt I needed to step in and help my child hold a boundary they wanted to hold, okay? But at the same time, I also had to let them have a relationship with their grandparents that was real and that was authentic between the two of them, and I wanted that. And my children love their grandparents, even though they do things very differently to how we are at home. Okay, so breathe and know that well, presumably you want your children to have different relationships with many people in their lives and to understand the dynamics of many different relationships. Now, with that comes the stuff that you can do to help get through that, okay? So the first one is definitely do some conscious breathing during the day. The other thing is you can unpack afterwards as you're leaving. There can be plenty of family discussion and conversation that comes up. And this is an awesome one to give you confidence for a start, and also to offset your own anxieties around it. You and your partner are the dominant influences in your child's life by far. The fraction of time that is spent with the grandparents is minimal compared to the influence you and your partner have, okay? Now, you have lots of opportunities for conversation, for unpacking things. I will say up front, if you feel really strongly like you need to bring something up, bring it up. If you're not sure, like if you think, wow, I wonder if they were really upset by that, bring it up very gently, because quite often they're not interpreting it the way you are. Okay, that often happens. So maybe say, how was the day today? Or what did you find about today? If you want to be more directed, did you find anything really unusual when Grandma said blah, blah, blah? Or what did you think about da, da, da? Or, you know, just loosely bring it up. And if conversation happens, that's fantastic. It gives you the opportunity to bring your influence, your reasons, your thinking, your philosophies back into how that all integrates, and help them understand how diverse relationships can be and what your values are. Okay, I think that is all I want to say for today's video. It's a hot issue. It's an ongoing issue for so many families for many years. I hope that this Christmas season sees you find some connection and peace. And I hope that the conversation around your Christmas dinner table, if you celebrate Christmas, is one that is happy and that you can relax at. Much love to you. Bye-bye.